Wir begrüßen Sie auf Global Art Fair bei der Vienna Art Week 2018. Vom 19. bis 25. November dreht sich in Wien alles um die Kunst unter dem Thema Promising Paradise.
Promising Paradise, also das Paradies-Thema, ist ein Thema, das in der Kunstgeschichte ja seit Jahrhunderten eigentlich von Künstlern bearbeitet wird. Man braucht nur ins Kunsthistorische Museum zum Beispiel hinübergehen und sieht dort wunderbare Paradiesdarstellungen von Lukas Cranach etwa oder auch bis hin zur Vertreibung aus dem Paradies natürlich auch. Und das Thema Paradies im übertragenen Sinn, also jetzt nicht mehr religiös, so wie vor Jahrhunderten, sondern heute eher im Sinne von einer Utopie, von einer vielleicht auch dem Gegenteil dazu, der Dystopie, also was auch Visionäres, das ist natürlich auch heute in der Gegenwartskunst ganz, ganz wichtig. Und dieses Thema schauen wir in der Art Week an, beleuchten es aus unterschiedlichen Perspektiven, aus künstlerischer Sicht, aus der Sicht von Designern, Architekten, selbst auch von Modeschöpfern und ziehen da einen roten Faden sozusagen durch die über 70 Programmpartner, die in der Vienna Art Week zusammenarbeiten und ein Programm machen. Ich verstehe das Thema mit Paradise und vor allem auch das Thema Promising Paradise auch politisch, weil natürlich in Zeiten des Populismus, wo ein Trump verspricht, Amerika wieder zum Paradies und Making it Great Again zu machen, wo eine Theresa May sagt, okay, sobald wir aus der EU aussteigen, geht es unserem Gesundheitswesen wieder paradiesisch oder auch, wir denken jetzt an Innenminister in Italien, aber auch selbst hier in Österreich, wo einfach die Formel gesagt wird, alle Ausländer raus sozusagen und dann bricht ja das Paradies aus. Und da zitiere ich Karl Popper, der gesagt hat, all diejenigen, die uns das Paradies versprochen haben, haben letztendlich die Hölle geschaffen. Und in dem Sinn auch politisch, glaube ich, ein kritischer Blick von Künstlern, von Intellektuellen auf diese Zeichen der Zeit.
Würden Sie Wien als Paradiesstadt, als Stadt der Kunst auch bezeichnen? Und was wünschen Sie sich für die Zukunft dieser Stadt im Hinblick auf Kunst und Kultur?
Also ich habe in vielen Städten schon gelebt, in New York, in Berlin, in Mexico City, in Caracas etc. Und wenn ich das vergleiche, ist aus meiner Sicht Wien ein fantastischer Ort, um künstlerische Inhalte zu schaffen, für Künstler, für Kuratoren, fürs Ausstellungsmachen. Gleichzeitig, glaube ich, kann man immer noch besser werden und immer auch noch, gerade was jetzt neue Ausstellungen, neue Projekte, künstlerische Projekte anlangt, kann man sich immer noch nach der Decke strecken. Also wir haben ja selbst mit der Art Week eine 14-jährige Entwicklung jetzt durchgemacht, von einem kleinen, exklusiven Programm mit ein paar Veranstaltungen und 11 Programmpartnern, haben jetzt über 70 Programmpartner und ein sehr dichtes Programm, sind wirklich gewachsen zu einem kleinen Festival, das auch ausstrahlt international und natürlich auch, das ist auch wichtig, den Zusammenhalt intern sozusagen stärkt. Ich würde mir wünschen, dass einerseits die Mieten relativ unten bleiben, sprich nicht öffentlicher Raum an Investoren einfach so abgegeben wird. Wir haben ja heute gehört mit der Traktorfabrik, das ist so ein Ort, aber eben nur zwischengenutzt. Da kann man nie sicher sein, wie lange sowas ganz Wichtiges mit über 40 Künstlern zu halten ist. Das würde ich mir wünschen. Ich würde mir wünschen, dass viele der hier tätigen Kuratoren, Künstler noch viel stärker ins Ausland gehen. Ich glaube, das ist ganz, ganz wichtig. Und dass hin und wieder so eine gewisse Gemütlichkeit, die in Wien doch aufkommt, und das genieße ich ja selbst, wenn ich in Wien bin, dann, dass diese Gemütlichkeit manchmal ein bisschen aufgebrochen wird. Und ich glaube, die politischen Zustände der Zeit sind eigentlich dazu angetan, wirklich sehr mit wachsenden Augen, mit einer Alertness, wirklich also neue Projekte zu realisieren, um die Freiheit der Kunst, um das Paradiesische der Kunst sozusagen, diesen Rückzugsort zu erhalten und zu stärken.
Very warm welcome, RoseLee Goldberg. What does the expression and term of paradise mean to you, and is it somehow linked to the term of utopia?
I really associate paradise with art history with great traditions of Bruegel and Bosch, and I don't really think of it in relation to contemporary art, but I'm being forced to think about it this week. I think it also has a lot of irony attached to it. I think we're in an ironic moment as it comes to Paradise. I think at the same time, though, we're always trying to think of the most humanist way to live our lives and to find artists who also reflect that.
And what is the challenge of curating an art festival in Vienna, also in comparison to the performance festival that you're curating in New York, and what are the maybe similarities also?
You know, I think the real key is creating material that artists are able, really making it possible for artists to create visions that they have, and also making that material have a context and real direct access for the audience. So it's really about creating experiences for the audience that they will learn a lot about history, about context, about politics, the society in which they live, and feel very engaged. And the other part that we always think about in New York with Performa is to find places after events that they've been to where there's possibility for a lot of conversation. So I really quietly behind the scenes orchestrate the entire process so that there's not only a lot of information beforehand, so you're filling people's heads with ideas, with background, with what it is that the artist is intending for us, what are the things that we should look out for, because I think the better informed you are, the more pleasure you will get from the experience, and then creating these very intense social situations where people can continue the conversation, and make sure that every such festival, that if you're there for 3 days or 5 days, that it's something you never forget. It has to be something that important in your life. And so there are a lot of elements to think about to create that kind of ambience.
So how do you think is the Vienna Art Week creating somehow a bridge between also established institutions and younger artists, or why do you think that is important to include also younger generations?
I was just saying a little while ago that I think the Vienna Art Week is so interesting, because if I could describe my ideal visit, when I go to a new town or a town I haven't been to for a while, and I think, what is my ideal visit? My ideal visit is, of course, seeing the major institutions, understanding how they're operating, what they're looking at, but then really looking at the big spectrum of what the city is about. Where do artists hang out? Where do they go? Where's the conversation? What is upsetting to them? What is exciting to them? So meeting the new young artists, doing studio visits, meeting the young curators, the established curators, really getting a range of conversations so that I go back and I feel I have come to know something very well in a very short time. And from what I can see with what I'm anticipating over the next few days, that this Vienna Art Week is presented, is thought of in that way, which is surprising because, there's so many art fairs around the world now and so many art weeks that seem to be more focused on the commerce. And this seems to have little to do with it. I don't know if it makes everybody happy that it has very little commercial underpinning, but I'm sensing, if I'm asking myself the question, what's going on in Vienna? What's Vienna like these days? Is it viable? How is it exciting as an art center? Where is the innovation? What are the capacities for artists? How do people live here? How are artists being listened to? These are big questions, and I feel that by the kind of plans that I've been given, that I can go and see artists and talk to artists, writers, curators, museum directors from across the board, from the classical Kunstgeschehen Museum to the Kunsthalle to MAK and so on. It's an extraordinary access and an extraordinary education.
That's right. So we are wishing you some few more exciting days, and thanks for your time and your words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent question.
Mr. NOKI, we are welcoming you at the Vienna Art Week. Could you tell us a bit about your work and your contribution to Vienna Art Week?
My work has been 20 plus years investigating rehabilitation of my own personal mind, I suppose, about branding, about the rave scene, being an 88 teenager, acid house, rave community, DIY. The toxicity of rave, the drug scene, the branding of that. And I just got to a point back in the 90s while living in Shoreditch. I moved into the area Shoreditch when it was a dead zone in 1995. And I got to a couple of years in and I just felt the toxicity of the rave and the drink and the drugs and the mentality and the breakdown of community. It was very toxic, so I kind of feed off words. I'm grown up with words being very kind of thrown at me, and branding has been a big thing. And where I come from in Scotland, and Aberdeen's a very branded city through the oil industry. So it's been quite my mind's full of words and letters, marketeered letters, graphic designed areas of the mind. So I suppose I got to about 95, 96 when I moved in, and it became a bit toxic, as I say. So maybe I had my neo-dada moment. I kind of wanted to do something, to question something. So I started chopping up my rave t-shirts, Nike, Adidas, Fila, LSA, anything with, sports branded words. And chopping them up gave me a brand new power alphabet, an ABC. So I just started making collages, customizing my own pieces together, going back into the rave, feeling I'd done something to question it, and getting unusual, what on earth are you doing, what are you wearing, where did Nike, Adidas and Fila make that? And it became kind of fun again. So I just carried on. I've just carried on chopping up sportswear in any found garment, and carrying on, reading into what the Dadists moved into, the pop art world, the way they questioned, and just as an artist being interested again, trying to solve questions, understand regeneration. And it's moved into sustainability because I use second-hand textiles in my work. That keeps me right. I know that as long as I go into the second-hand arena, the mountains, through the rag yards, or into the second-hand vintage shops, and I pull a garment out, I treat it as a canvas. So those canvases get sewn together, cut up, and I have just entered into matchesfashion.com on their innovators platform, and they're helping me build what's called a neo-luxury brand. So it's becoming wearable art. I do canvases, and as I say, I just enjoy collage. I'm dyslexic, so I think that format for me made sense. It playfully rehabilitates a negativity that society push upon us. If you can't read and write, then you're a nobody. So I suppose I was able to reconfigure that concept and be quite positive.
And what does the term paradise or promising paradise mean to you? Also, maybe on the level of art and fashion
Well, I would sort of push it down to PP. I love branding words back down to PP, so it's great. So I have DNA, direct NOKI action, NOKI is all part of it with the icon backwards. So PP to me is what I found back in the day when I first chopped up a t-shirt. I kind of found a paradise beyond the constraints of the brand ident that was, I suppose, our generation raved into the conscious effort of a youth culture. It's become the everyday now. Back then we used to rave and sweat. Nowadays, unfortunately we have an obese problem. People stretch into sportswear. So it's not necessarily what it started off to be, but I certainly would like to try and drag some of the positivity of the rave into the 21st century.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time
nice
and
to
your
meet you.
words, and thank you so much.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Neben etablierten Institutionen werden außerdem innovative künstlerische Projekte in insgesamt 200 Veranstaltungen vorgestellt. Wir freuen uns auf eine sehr ereignisreiche Woche in Wien.